Good morning, sunshines. Callie Carroll here, talking about whether or not I'm going to have chemo. So we're doing a little update. And first of all, if you're new here, welcome. Hi, I'm Callie, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2.5 months ago, almost. Did not know that I had a bump. I was just going in for a routine mammogram, and I actually went in a couple months early because I just called and they had a last minute appointment, and they found something. Went in and they said that there was a tumor in there. So I've since had, this is just a side note, aside from the chemo piece, I've since then had at least a couple handfuls of you guys saying that you finally scheduled your mammograms. So I am so appreciative, even of just me sharing for that purpose. For some people starting to get checked, it makes my heart so happy. So if you haven't get checked, go get checked. It's not that bad. We have a full episode on our podcast, Maturish Mamas Life Unfiltered, about how simple mammograms and colonoscopies are. Like proactive health is not that challenging. You just have to make the appointment. And I know you got a lot going on, but you make the appointment, you go in, and then you could be me, where I don't know if they call it early, like early stage diagnosis of breast cancer, but I would think that's kind of how it'd be categorized, even though it's a grade B. There's 1, 2, and 3 grades, and mine's a grade B. It's like, or grade 2. I don't know, grade B, A, B, C, whatever. It's right in the middle because it has not spread to my lymph nodes yet. So I'm just going to kind of explain the process to you. And the first thing for you guys to know, because some of you are like, I want to get on and I want to check out. That's cool. I am in the waiting stages. So I got my mastectomy done 11, 12 days ago. So they removed the tatas, and people have been asking about that process. So I can explain some of that. Thank you for the 3 flowers. That's my favorite. So those are my sunflowers. Those are signs of light and love, you guys. If you're like, what are you talking about? It's in the comments. So they go through, they take the breast tissue, and then they send it in for something called an onc type DX. And that they take all of your breast tissue. So once they do the procedure, they take all of your breast tissue and they ship it off. I don't know if they really ship it off to the pathologist. I just picture like boobs in an envelope. That's probably not what they do. They don't FedEx it. They send it to the pathologist. They test for 21 different genes. And I think it's 15 of them are cancer related genes, 6 of them are just like general genes. And then together with that, and an assortment of other things, I do believe, like they take into account that it has not spread to my lymph node, the size of the tumor, the different type of breast cancer that I have. They give me a score of the likelihood of reoccurrence of breast cancer in my case. 1 out of 8 women get breast cancer, and many of those cases have reoccurrence. So current studies, all that funding and research, a lot of it is going towards how do we prevent future cancer with our cancer patients that we've supported, right? So in my brain, you guys, right now I'm cancer free. Like I had cancer 2 weeks ago, and right now I do not have cancer because they cut out both my boobs. Some women hate that ideology. They're like, you can't just say that you're cancer free just because all of a sudden you went in and you had your mastectomy done. But I'm talking to my body with so much positive belief. I'm like, yep, there's no more. They cut out the tumor, they cut out all the cancer, they cut out everything, right? So now we need to know if people are like, well, how could you have cancer again then? I'm going to put this down because honestly, it's a little heavy. If like, you could have the best mastectomy surgeon. So when you get a mastectomy, I'm just going to describe the process. This is so fun. They go in, they took my, like the fascia that lays, this is my pec muscle. There's a fascia. Everybody has like fascia. It's like saran wrap on your body. There's a fascia. There's the breast tissue. It goes out like this, right? And then inside mine, there was like this palpable tumor, she said, like kind of like a golf ball. She could just grab it and pull it out. Like sometimes the tissue is so varied, you couldn't do that, but she was able to just like grab it. But she still took the fascia, the breast tissue, the nipples, the whole thing. All that remains is any skin that doesn't have any breast tissue on it. Even the best mastectomy surgeon, there could be the slightest, the 1 cell that still has the availability, the probability. With me, I have a gene mutation where it could turn back into cancer, where it could develop cancer, it could become a cancerous state. When they removed mine, not only did I have the tumor, but I also had DCIS. So there's invasive ductal carcinoma, that's breast cancer. And then DCIS is where it's gotten into your milk ducts. And when it's gotten into your milk ducts, that's like the very beginning stages. So it's like the baby stage of cancer. Then the tumor is the next stage. Moving into the lymph nodes is the next stage. So mine was that's why mine's like the middle stage. But I did have the beginning stage too. So thank goodness they scooped all of that out, right? But if there's just the babyest thing that could develop in the future, this is what that test goes through and tells you, like, what's the likelihood. And this is such a beautiful thing about this cancer specifically, is that there's so much funding and research that, the DCIS scoring, I'm sorry, the ONCS type scoring started in 2004. So for the last 20 years, it's not like you get breast cancer and they're like, you need to have radiology, you're going to have a double mastectomy and you have chemo. That's not the way it works anymore. Not everybody has to have chemo. I'm hormone positive and HER2 negative, whatever, that's breast cancer terms. If you guys know, you know. But when you have hormone positive, HER2 negative, they're able to say, is it better to do chemo and prevent cancer, or are the side effects of chemo going to outweigh the risks of getting cancer again and then removing the cancer? So that's like what everything goes into it. When they send off my boobs, my tissue to the pathology, they're going to do a scoring that if I get, she said in my case, if I get a scoring of 25 or lower, then I don't have to have chemotherapy. They're going to consider that I'm low risk enough that it's more I don't know what the word is, inconvenient, painful, like has more negative side effects to have the chemotherapy. But if I'm 20, whatever, maybe it's 25 or higher, 26 or higher, then it's more beneficial to experience all the side effects of chemotherapy to prevent that for future cases. So, mental state I want to talk about real quick, and then I'll answer the other questions that I've gotten about reconstruction, because you guys have sent so many awesome questions and so many incredible pieces of feedback about adversity that you're going through and how you're doing your best to move through with more gratitude and positivity, even during like a dire or adverse situation, which is so cool. So my mindset, people like, this is the hardest time. You get your mastectomy done, you've got all of this, like this pain and these things, you can't use your arms. Like you see like my little like flapping arms, my like T-Rex arms, like I'm not really allowed to do much with them. I'm not allowed to open a door or a refrigerator or a microwave. Like there's a lot of restrictions for a full month. But in addition to that, they say that the hardest part is waiting to see if you have chemo. It's like, what happens next? And they say just plan on about a year for your recovery period for this type of breast cancer. But we don't know what's next. Like, am I going to have 4 to 5 months? I don't know. And like, truthfully, when people ask about my mental status and how that's going for me, I am so I'm not worried about it all. That's where I'm at. I'm not worried about it. I'm not spending time thinking about it. Honestly, like this is one of the first conversations that I've had about it with you guys, because I know that God has a plan. And if I have to have chemo, I will be grateful that I get to be proactive to prevent an additional occurrence of cancer within my body, because the doctors have done so much research that they know that that's going to be better for me. And if I don't have to have chemo, I'm going to be so grateful that I don't have to have those side effects, and that my likelihood of reoccurrence is so much less that I don't have to have that. So either way, it's like, why spend time, invest energy and thinking about that? Instead, I'm going to spend time, energy, mindset, focusing on my positive movement forward and my healing. So it's in my situation, my mindset, it's not the hardest thing about the process. I'll know, I mean, 3 weeks, I don't know, I'll know in the next couple weeks if I have to have chemo or not. And if what it is, what it is. When I get the answer, it is what it is, I'm going to face that, right? Outside of that, the other questions is they do for anybody with HER2 with hormone positives. So that means that my breast cancer, the type I have, I had don't no longer have, that type of breast cancer feeds off of hormones. So progesterone and estrogen is like, that's gonna, like, it's feeding it. So it's gonna grow on those different hormones. So they want to remove all of those hormones from my system so that even if there was a speckle of it somewhere, it doesn't have anything to eat, so it dies, right? So I'm going to take some sort of pill for the next 5 to 10 years that's going to stop all of my hormone production, which is not like the most inconvenient situation, but it is what it is, right? When you go into menopause, for all my perimenopausal mamas, because all that's where I'm like, that's my age range, that's my group, that's my gang, right? You guys are starting to experience that if you're not doing any hormone replacement therapy, because your body naturally stops producing as many of the hormones. And it's going to basically, it doesn't put me into menopause. It's going to make me feel like I'm in perimenopause, but I won't be until I am. So it's kind of like I get to experience perimenopause twice. High five. Who's lucky? This girl. And all of the other women who have experienced it. And if I happen to go into menopause during the same time, they just switch me over to a different pill, which is like called the chemo pill. Either way, I'll be on some sort of pill for the next 5 to 10 years called endocrine therapy. The other question that people have asked is whether or not, somebody sneaking behind me, do, 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 do. They love when I do live videos. It's the best. And I do it right in the middle of my house because that's where it sticks to the window. Anywho, the other question that I get is, did you have reconstruction? Like, what's going on with the girls with the chest, right? And I'm so open to talking about it because I'm so open to talking about everything. So I had like both breasts completely removed, the nipples removed. And then what they do is they take your pec muscle and they kind of fillet it. They like open it up and then they make a pocket where they can stick an implant. Because if they just stick an implant, you can go flat, so you can just have no boobs, which if the implants don't work for me, then that's where I'll be. That's fine. But I'm trying this first. But in order, if they just stick an implant right underneath your skin, it's not like you've seen somebody who's had a boob job before, right? Breast augmentation. They have a full pocket of boob fat and they stick the implant underneath the boob fat. So you can't really see that ball of saline or silicone. It just lifts up their natural boob. I don't have any boob. I have like a sheet of skin. The way the doctor they described it is like, so like say you put like a softball on your bed and you covered it with a mattress. It's like this soft pillowy mattress. That's what breast augmentation looks like, or a boob job. And for me, it's like you have that ball and then you just put over like saran wrap. And then so it's just like it looks like the implant. So putting it on top sometimes is, some people do it, some people don't, but that can be one of the challenges of that. For me, because the cancer was right on the pec, they didn't want to do that anyways, because if there's cancer in the pec in the future, in the muscle, we need to make sure that there's exposure, that I can feel that I can see that I know that it's there. Not going to happen, but right. So I could do that. So they fillet the pec, they put the implant underneath, and then but not right away. So this is what people were asking about. So I don't have implants right now. For me, what they do is something called expanders. So they do like a temporary situation where they're going to stretch out that muscle and heal my body up so they can put the implant in 3 to 7 months. I'm not really sure. So I'll have another full reconstruction, like a full surgery at that point. And the reason why they do that is that when they fillet it, there's like, so my muscles up here, and then there's this like bag. It's like, you know, those reusable lunch sacks? They're like that hard plastic. Not hard, but it's not like a Ziploc baggie. It's like the more just thicker ones. So they have that in there that holds a certain amount. So those are called expanders. And then sometimes they put fluid in it right away. Sometimes they don't. The doctor was able to put 200 cc's of saline in there. So there's a little bit of saline that's in there right now. And then they use like human cadaver, like this like grafting, and they create a pocket underneath the muscle that holds it like a little hammock. So it's beep, 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 holds the hammock in. So then now I have this expander with whatever, and that's going to allow for my skin, my body to connect to that grafting to make new skin, to create like full coverage on the inside, not the outside. That's all on the inside, right? So that's why I have to be so careful, because I've got this cadaver skin that is connecting to the muscle. And then there's this like airbag is what I see it as, like just airbags in there, but they're pumping it up full of stuff. And then for the next 2 months, however long, until I'm done being filled, I go into the doctor. There's these little like magnets up here, which is weird that there's metal in my body, but they go over and they push saline into it until my boobs are maybe not like, right now they're indented. Like there's like, it kind of just looks, I mean, they look pretty good, but it kind of looks like a car wreck. Like there's like indents, like folds, wrinkles, tubes. Doesn't look like normal boobs at all. This is why when people are like, oh, that's so cool that you get a free breast. What do people always say? People, things you don't want to see to say to people with breast cancer, you get a free boob job out of the deal. Don't say that to a woman, because you don't. It's not a boob job. There's maybe a very rare few, like, percentage of people who have nice looking boobs afterwards. But if you look up pictures of what breast reconstruction looks like, you're probably gonna not want to look for very long. It's not a boob job. And then we're like, oh, and you get a tummy tuck if you get the fat. Don't say that to a woman. It's just that it's not the case. I know you're trying to be positive. I said it at first, and then I realized it's not a boob job. Like, it doesn't look like that. Anyways, so right now they're kind of like wrinkly and flat because there's these empty sacs, empty-ish. There's still 150 like units of space, so they could be like double the size. And I go in until I figure out what I want them to look like. And then after that, I wait 3 months for my body to heal, and then they'll do the next surgery. So for me, what's super unique about that, and everybody's different, and it's so beautiful that people get to choose, is, but like, I was a gymnast. I've always been very small chested. I like that. I'm not a boob person. So just even having like as much boobs as I have now, you don't think about this as a woman unless you've thought about augmentation, but like, it changes your whole styling, your whole clothes, the way your body feels. So I get the opportunity to decide what feels comfortable to me, and then I can pick the size afterwards. And if I want to go smaller than where it's at right now, I think I talk to my plastic surgeon soon. They just like, they do a smaller saline bag and they just cut more skin off and try to like make a boob. So that's a lot of information. Are you having chemo? I don't know. I don't know for a while. How are you doing about that mentally? I'm doing fine about that. Go that way, babe. Go that way. Go that way. Go that way. I'm doing fine. I'm like, it is what it is. I'll handle whatever's given to me when it comes to me, and I'm not going to worry about it. And then, like, that just encourages me to keep a positive mental state. What's that?
Uh, there's a squirrel.
Awesome, babe. Okay, you go, but you go. Okay, don't use that door because mommy's doing a live video right now with all my friends. Can you go that way with daddy?
Yeah,
Okay, it's upstairs in your room, I think.
okay.
Okay. So anyways, like, mindset's good, but I think a couple different things in sharing, I'll share when I know what the results are, is, going through, I feel like I lost my complete train of thought, and I haven't even stopped my hormone replacements. Whatever, you guys. Going through double mastectomy and reconstruction, and that's my process. That's what I'm doing. There's so many different ways to do it. There's so many different options, and it can be overwhelming. But all we get to do is take the information and do our best with it. One thing about people being diagnosed with cancer, it's so weird as a friend or a support person. Like, what do I say? How do I say it? I don't want to say the wrong things, and I say, like, to reach out and pour love. I'm sending you light, love, prayers, whatever, positive songs, positive quotes. Quincy, go that way, go that way, go that way. Positive quotes, like, things like that can be super supportive. And I don't want to say, like, here's the things you don't do, but like, just consider this. Can you guys just let me finish my live video real quick? Okay, that's fine. Then go downstairs. Okay. Consider just a couple different things, like the whole, like, you're getting a free boob job. Maybe don't say that, because this is in my group. Can you shut that door, buddy? Saying, oh yeah, I had a friend who had breast cancer and they died, because that was all of my group. So many people, that's their reaction. It doesn't feel good. Like any cancer, if they're like, oh yeah, I had a friend who had prostate cancer, they died. Cervical cancer, they died. Like, that does you see how that might be a disconnect? Doesn't feel great for the person that you're communicating. Like, maybe just don't even share the story. Like, I understand that was your experience, but that doesn't feel good for them. And what was the other one? The other, like, main one, not the augmentation, but they died. Oh, the breast implant syndrome. So there's some people's bodies do not feel well with a foreign object in them. I can't get false eyelashes because I'm one of the 4% that feels sick from the glue that's on there. Like, I get like this, like, COVID feeling, like sickness. So I have people, like, after I've gotten breast implants, sending me things like, just, you want to watch out for this. And I understand that's coming from a space of love, the research that you're sending, but also someone who just had cancer and had this put into their body, sharing that isn't super supportive. So what I would say to that, what that means is, like, if you have a foreign object in your body, sometimes you feel sick, you get headaches, you gain weight, there's different adverse side effects. There's also a very real placebo effect that if you think that's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I've been keeping my mind very clean. I want to welcome this this path that I'm doing right now with open arms, although I can't open my arms right now, with closed arms, but open arms like this. I want to welcome them. And if my body takes this and I feel good, that's going to be so amazing. But that's what I'm speaking into. So people pouring in like the likelihood that that's not going to happen, it doesn't feel great. I'm good because I just don't read it and I just don't comment. So, but a lot of people, their minds do welcome in that information, right? And if something does occur where my body doesn't receive this well, then like I said, then you go flat. You take out all the implants and you just have a flat chest. It is what it is, right? But I'm giving my body the opportunity to try this first. So I don't want people like tiptoeing, like, oh, I can't talk to that person because I'm going to say the wrong thing. But sometimes you do just have to think about like some major things that could affect their mindset. Oh yeah, they had cancer, they died. Like, gosh, that just doesn't feel good. Do you guys know what I'm saying? So anyways, I hope some of that helps. I feel like I'm doing freaking fantastic. I am having a little bit of a hard time not opening doors and not doing things because your mind feels better than your body at first. And I have to let those cadavers and everything like heal up. So I'm asking for a lot of help. John Carroll is unbelievable. He's like teaching me patience. I'm like, hey babe, will you warm this up in the microwave? And he's like, okay, just a minute. I'm like, is this what it feels like to be a kid? You're just like, I just want my tea now. I would just walk over and get my tea. But you know, I get to wait 2 minutes. So I'm learning patience. That's neat. And I just rest and sleep a lot. It's like making a baby when your body's doing something internally, it's healing an area, your body's just tired. So I do a lot of sleeping. And I will be able to use my arms a little bit more on Thanksgiving. How about that? How about them apples? And I'll be back at the gym in February if I'm not having chemo. If I am having chemo, then we shift. Shift. So guys, that's my update. And no, I didn't get dressed today. I'm wearing pajamas. Thanks, girls, for these jammies. That's all I have. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for the light and love. If you're like the one that sent me the message about like, hey, don't watch out for this disease that you might get. I'm not going to hold anything against. I'm just like talking about future reference. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Right? There's multiple of those, by the way. And also, if you're going through something in your life right now that's not like you would not have chose this for your life. You would not have chose that you're getting divorced. You would not have chose that you would be in like a distressed relationship with a friend. You would have not chose that you have IBS. You would not have chose that whatever. There's different things. There's different adversities that you're facing right now that are true and they're real and they're challenging and they're hard and life is difficult for you right now. And I totally get that because that is life. Life is not all ups, it's ups and downs, and it's how we handle the downs and the ups, truthfully, that form who we're becoming. We get to choose with every adversity we face, every different situation, good and bad, how we're going to show up as a person and how we're going to focus, what we're going to focus on. And that's going to build you up, and build your next chapter. So whatever chapter you're in right now, if you don't love it, a new chapter is coming. But the way you act in this chapter will write your next one. And if I was choosing to focus on all the negative situations and all the pain and the fatigue and the what ifs and the worry, I would be building a mindset and a different level of stress and possibly trauma in my body to have an entirely different next chapter. But I know my next freaking chapter is gonna rock. I'm so excited for my next chapter. It's just I gotta do this one first. I get to grow through this one first, not go through it. I get to grow through it. So I just want to remind you of that. Okay. All right. I love you guys so damn much. I know I don't do as many live videos, but everything's on the podcast now. Mature-ish Mamas Life Unfiltered, where we're talking about things like this and more. And it's just interactive and ridiculous. And it's so freaking much fun if you haven't listened to any of those. And I'll put some more lives on Facebook. I just stopped because I couldn't figure out the technology because things change all the time. 6767, that's not the right reference right there. Okay, so we'll have some of that, but I love you guys. Keep the messages coming. If you have questions, if you have ideas for different shows, if you have thoughts, any of the stuff, I want to hear it. Never, don't sit idly back and not say anything. Like, shoot me messages. I love you guys. Okay, bye. It takes a while for me to press end. Don't worry. Just